Namaste everyone. Today we will see topic soil. Soil, as we all know, soil is a thin layer of loose mixture of small rock particles and rooting organic matter that cover the surface of the earth. It supports the forest, grassland and the crop from which all living creatures on the earth derive their energy. So what we understand by soil? It is a thin layer of loose mixture of small rock particles and rotting organic matter that cover the surface of the earth. So if you see the top layer of the earth, it is nothing but it is soil. Okay, and what it include? It include small pieces of the rocks and organic matter. Various forms of nature such as changing temperature, running water and wind affect the formation of the soil. Now how the soil creates, or what are the factors which affect the formation of soil? So various forces of nature such as changing temperature, running water and wind. These forces of nature along with the chemical and organic changes that take place in the soil contribute to the evolution of soil. Thus the soil itself has evolved over millions of years. Faulty agricultural practice, overgrazing and deforestation lead to soil erosion. Now soil erosion means removal of the soil, we can say. So why this is happening? Because of faulty agricultural practice. We are not practicing proper agricultural practices. Overgrazing by the animals and deforestation. These are the main reasons for soil erosion. Improved agricultural practices, reduced pressure of grazing and afforestation can help in the conservation of soil. So if we do the reverse process, that is, if we use improved agricultural practice, if we reduce overgrazing and if we do afforestation, that means if we plant trees, then it will help to conserve the soil, to reduce the soil erosion. Now let us see the constituents of the soil. What different things present in the soil? Soil are derived from the parent rock material through a process of breakup or wear and tear. Decomposed vegetal and animal remains called the humus is an important constituent of the soil and adds to the fertility of the soil. Besides humus, silica, clay and sand are the other constituents of the soil. So we can see that the major constituent of the soil is its parent rock. The weathering of the parent rock, or we can say that breaking of parent rock or wear and tear of the rock, it create a very small pieces. Okay, then some vegetal or animal remains mix in that broken part. These decomposed vegetal or animal remains we call as humus, and other constituents include the soil humus, and the other is silica, clay and sand. They also add up to the soil. Now this humus means the decomposed vegetal and animal remain. They are important for improving the fertility of the soil. Now soil fertility. Soil fertility refers to the strength of the soil in support plant life. What is soil fertility? Soil fertility refers to the strength of the soil to support the plant life. Fertile soil has the following characteristic. It contains adequate amount of moisture to supply essential nutrient to the plant. So first of all, if you see a fertile soil, or in a fertile soil we found a adequate amount of moisture that supplies essential nutrient to the plant. Secondly, it has sufficient depth to enable the plant to grow their roots as per their requirement. So fertile soil, you will find a certain depth of the soil is there, so that plants can grow in that. It is rich in nutrient such as nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium that are necessary for the basic plant nourishment. So it is rich in nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. It contains organic matter that improve the structure of the soil. So we have seen that a fertile soil, first of all, it has good amount of moisture. Second, it has a good amount of depth. Third, it has required nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, etc. And fourth, it contains organic matter that improves the soil. Soil fertility can be improved by mixing nutrients in the form of fertilizers to the soil. And in many cases, if the fertility of the soil is not good, what we do? We add fertilizers to improve its fertility. Soil classification. According to the location, soil can be categorized as residual or sedimentary soil. What is residual or sedimentary soil? So almost all the soil are formed in situ, that is, they are formed in their original position by the breaking up of the parent rock. They have a well defined soil profile. They include black soil, red soil, laterite soil, desert soil, etc. So residual or sedimentary soil means the soil which are formed in situ. Which are formed in situ means which are formed in their original position. That means they are formed by breaking of the rock. Okay, they are formed by breaking of the rock. So these soils, they include black soil, red soil, laterite soil, desert soil, etc. So residual or sedimentary soils, we can classify them further. Second is transported soil. So residual soil means they are forming because of the breakup of the rock, and it is present there only. It is formed in situ. Okay. Second is transported soil. These soils are ex situ, means they are not formed at the place. Okay, means they are forming at one place and they are then removed from one place to another place. That is transported soil. These soils are ex situ, that is transported by various agents of erosion and consist of sediment carried and deposited by rivers and the winds. Hence, they do not have a well-defined soil profile. Alluvial soil are transported soil. So, as they are forming at some other places and because of river and other sources, they are depositing at some other places. So, you will not find a well-defined profile of that particular soil because it is a mixture of different soils. Alluvial soil is an example of transported soil. So, this is soil classification: residual or sedimentary and transported soil. Types of soil. India is a vast region with varied natural environment. So we find several physiographic regions and different types of climate. Therefore, number of soil type have developed here. So as India is a very vast country, and since we have variation in climate, therefore we find a different type of soil in India on the basis of their origin, color, composition and location. The soil of India have been classified into the following type. So depending upon origin, from where we are getting soil, their color, their composition, etc., we classify them in the following type. First, let us see alluvial soil. Alluvial, we have already seen that it is a transported soil. So this soil is formed by sediments brought down by the river. It is rich in chemical ingredient. The river deposits very fine particles of soil called alluvium in their plains during the course of their long journey. The resultant alluvium soil is also known as riverine soil because it is mainly found in the river basins. So alluvial soil is nothing but it is a soil which is transported by the river, okay, from one place to another. The resultant alluvial soil is also known as riverine. Why we call it riverine? Because it is because of river basins. It is formed because of river basins. It is a mixture of sand, clay and the silt called loam. The Indian alluvium soil have been deposited by three important river systems. So this alluvial soil which is deposited by river. So in our India we have three important river system which does this job. It is the Indus, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra. This soil occupies 40% of the land area. So in our India 40% of the land area it is occupied by alluvial soil only. The entire northern plain are made up of this soil. It is also predominant in coastal plain and deltas, particularly in the deltas of Mahanadi, the Godavari, the Krishna and the Kaveri river. On the basis of its age, the alluvial soil is of the two type, Bangar and Khadar. The Bangar are the older alluvial and is composed of lime nodule or the kankar and has a clay composition. So based on the age, we classify this alluvial soil in two type. One is Bangar and one is Khadar. What is Bangar? Bangar are or the old alluvium. We called Bangar or we called old alluvium. By name itself, it is old alluvium. It is composed of lime nodule or the kankar and has a clay composition. The Khadar is light in color and is composed of newer deposits. So newer deposits, it is, we can say that new, okay, recently it is formed. So it is Khadar. Khadar is more fertile than the Bangar soil as new layer are deposited year after year during the monsoon flood. So this Khadar soil, it is a newer layer and it is more fertile as compared to Bangar. The crop can be grown on the old alluvium soil by using manure. We can grow the crops on old alluvium soil also, that is Khadar, by using the fertilizers. On Bangar we will say old alluvium soil Bangar. It forms the largest and the most important group as it contribute the largest share to the agricultural wealth of India. Now this alluvium soil, they are very important because they are fertile and they contribute their share in the agricultural wealth of India. Let us see their distribution. Inland alluvium, it is found on the plain of the Indus, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra river. So the plain area, okay, which is near to these rivers, Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra river, we find inland alluvium. Extending from Punjab and Sindh to, so their extension is from Punjab and Sindh to, we can say, Bangladesh and Assam. Uttarakhand, their extension is from Punjab and Sindh to Bangladesh and Assam. Punjab, Haryana, Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal has alluvial soil. This soil type also covers a part of Gujarat and a few patches of Rajasthan. Second, we have deltaic alluvium. Deltaic alluvium. The deltaic alluvium is found in the deltas of Ganga, Brahmaputra, Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri river. So deltaic alluvium means which are these are the alluviums which are present in the delta regions of Ganga, Brahmaputra, Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri. And third category is coastal alluvium. It is of tidal origin. It is found in the coastal strips of peninsular India. It is also found in the plains of Gujarat. So these alluvium soils, we classify them as inland alluvium, we classify them as deltaic alluvium and coastal alluvium. So in these three categories we classify them. Let us understand its characteristics of the alluvium soil. First, color. The color of the alluvium soil varies from light grey to deep black. What is the color of this alluvium soil? It is light grey to deep black. Its shades depend on the depth of deposition, the texture of the material and the time taken for maturity. Texture. Alluvial soil is formed by deposition of the river load as it flows from its upper to its lower course. So texture means how they look, texture. So alluvium soil is formed by the deposition of river load as it flows from its upper to its lower course. In the upper reaches of the river valleys, the soil is dry, porous, and sandy. So, in as these soils, they are uh, formed because of flow of river, and river is bringing this soil from top to bottom. So, on upper reaches, if you see, these soils are porous, and sandy. It consists of clay and organic matter. Soil particles are large and non-uniform. So in upper part we will see that the soil particles, they are large and non-uniform. Such soil is predominant in pate-bound plain near the foot of mountain. As we move further down a river valley, the soil particles become smaller and more uniform. They are more compact, less compact, and more moist. They are found up to a depth of 500 meter. Minerals. Alluvial soil varies in nature from sandy loam to clay. So these alluvial soil, they varies in nature, means in upper part we have seen that they are sandy. Okay, so they varies from sandy loam to clay. It is fertile soil as it is rich in mineral, especially iron, magnesium, alumina, potash, and lime, but poor in phosphorus, nitrogen, and organic matter. So these alluvium soils, they are rich in some minerals, and they are they are poor, we say, in some other minerals like phosphorus, nitrogen, and organic matter. It is deficient in nitrogen and humus, except the alluvium of Ganga deltaic region, which is rich in humus. In the drier areas, it is more alkaline. So in Ganga deltaic region, we will find that the soil is rich in humus, but otherwise it is not having a good content of humus. Here we have a distinction in Bangar soil and Khadar soil. So Bangar soil and Khadar soil, if we see that Bangar soil, it is old alluvium. Bangar soil is what? It is old alluvium soil known as Bangar, occupies the largest part of northern plain. So old alluvium soil, and it is generally present in the northern plain. Bangar is above the flood level of river and present a terrace-like structure. Bangar is full of kankad, and Bangar is not very fertile. So these are the features of Bangar soil. Bangar soil, they are old alluvial soil. They are above the flood level, means whenever the flood come, okay, these soils are above to the top level of flood. They are full of kankad and they are not very fertile. About Khadar soil, the area of northern plain that lies below the flood level. So the area which is lies above the flood level, there we find Bangar, and the area which is below the flood level, there we will find Khadar. Khadar is younger alluvial, as the flood water deposits new layer every year. It is formed of a fine silt and clay, and the Khadar is very fertile and ideal for intensive cultivation. Khadar is very fertile and ideal for intensive cultivation. Crops. Let us understand what different types of crops we grow in these soils. So crops. Alluvial soil is light and porous and therefore easily tillable. It is suitable for the growth of a large variety of Rabi and Kharif crop. So this kind of soil is very good for growth of Rabi and Kharif crop. It is fertile and suitable for cultivation of rice, wheat, sugarcane, cotton, tobacco, gram and oil seeds. In the lower Ganga Brahmaputra valley, it is useful for jute cultivation. So we see that this alluvial soil, they are fertile and they are suitable for most of the types of crops. Second type of the soil is black soil. This soil is black in color and is also known as the black cotton soil or the rigor soil. So we call this as a black cotton soil also. So from the name itself you can understand that this soil is very useful for cotton cultivation. It is dark in color and is suitable for cotton cultivation. This soil is the residual soil, that is it is formed at the place of the origin over the underlying rocks. Okay, so this is a in situ soil. This is a residual soil. Since it is formed by the denudation of the volcanic rocks, it is also known as lava soil. Now this black soil, it is formed by the volcanic rocks, and therefore its color is black. Distribution: the rigor soil are concentrated over the Deccan, large tracts which include Deccan tract, we will say, which include part of Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, and some part of Tamil Nadu. Characteristic of rugged black soil: color, it is black in color as it is formed from weathered lava rock. So its texture is black color, its color is black. Texture, it is fine textured and clay in nature. It is fine textured means they are very small in size and clay in nature, up to 50% clay content, and therefore highly retentive of water. Because of high clay content, this soil expands when wet and becomes difficult to plow. During the dry season, it shrinks and develops big cracks which help in air circulations. This characteristic causes a kind of self-plowing. So when there is more water, we see that its volume increases and it is difficult to plow. In dry season, we find that there are cracks and it allows air to circulate from them. Due to the slow absorption and loss of moisture, the black soil retains moisture for a very long time, which help the crop, especially the rain-fed ones, to sustain even during the dry season. So the nature of this clay soil, the nature of this black soil is that it retains moisture for a long time, and therefore it is helpful for the crops which require moisture. Mineral, it has high quantities of lime, iron, magnesium, and generally poor percentages of phosphorus, nitrogen, and organic matter. So as we see in alluvium soil, this soil is also poor percentage of phosphorus, nitrogen, and organic matter, but they are good in lime, iron, magnesium. Crops, the soil is very fertile in most of the places. It is suitable for cultivation of cotton, jowar, wheat, linseed, gram, citrus fruits and vegetables, tobacco, and sugarcane. In any season, it has moisture stored in its subsoil. The moisture retentiveness of the black soil make it suitable for dry farming. So because it retains moisture in dry weather also, we can cultivate in dry seasons also. Third is red soil. Red soil is a category of soil which develops on old crystalline rocks. Under the prolonged weathering by rainfall, ancient crystalline and metamorphic rocks of the peninsular plateau break up to form this soil. This soil differs from places to place on the basis of the parental rock material and climatic conditions. So red soil is a category of soil which develops on old crystalline rocks. So these soils, they develop on the old crystalline rock. Under the prolonged weathering by the rainfall, ancient crystalline and metamorphic rocks of the peninsular plateau break up to form this soil. So they are formed from the metamorphic and peninsular plateau. This soil differs from place to place on the basis of parental rock material and climatic conditions. So based on from which rock we are obtaining this red soil, they differ. Red soil forms the second largest soil group in India and is found mainly on the plateau regions of peninsular India from Tamil Nadu in the south to Bundelkhand in the north and Rajmahal Hills in the east to Kutch in the west. So we can see that this red soil we find throughout the India. Red soil cover almost the whole of Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, southeastern Maharashtra, part of Orissa, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Bundelkhand, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Manipur, Telangana and Nagaland. Scattered patches of the red soil are also found in Birbhum, that is West Bengal, Mirzapur, Jhansi, Banda, Hamirpur, Udaipur, Chittorgarh, Dungarpur, Banswara and Bhilwara district. It is particularly encircles the entire black soil region of all sides on all sides. It extends northwards in the west along the Konkan coast of Maharashtra. Characteristic of the red soil. Characteristic of the red soil. So color, as the name suggests, it is red in color as it contains large amount of iron oxide. Now why it is red in color? Because of the presence of iron oxide. At several places its color slightly changes and it appears brown or grey. It looks yellow when it occurs in hydrated form. Texture. Hydrated form means when there is more water in it, so its color looks yellow. Texture. It is porous, loose and aerated. It is porous, loose. We know what we understand by porous. Okay. So porous means there is lot of air present. It is loose, okay, and aerated. Aerated, again air is there, and it is generally shallow. Its pH value ranges from 6.6 to 8. Minerals. It is poor in nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium and organic matter. So all the soils which we are seeing, they are poor in nitrogen and phosphorus. It contains soluble salt in small quantities. Crops. For which crop it is good? So it is ideal for dry farming as it is formed in the areas with poor rainfall. It is not fertile but responds to fertilizers. It is not fertile, but if we add some fertilizers, then it responds, means then its fertility increases. It needs irrigation support for cultivation. That means we need water from extra sources. Though the red soil is suitable for cultivating almost all crop type, it is most suitable for growing vegetables, rice, ragi and tobacco. Groundnut and the potatoes can be grown on coarse soil at higher level and sugarcane on a heavy clays at the lower level. So groundnut and potatoes we can grow on the coarse of soil at higher level. At higher level we can grow groundnut and potatoes, and we can grow sugarcane at the lower levels. Then the fourth category is laterite soil. This soil type is formed as a result of atmospheric weathering of rock under the conditions of high rainfall and temperature with alternate wet and dry periods. So laterite soil, how they are forming? They are forming by atmospheric weathering of the rock under conditions of high rainfall and temperature. So where the rainfall is more and temperature variation is more, there we find this kind of soil, laterite soil. It is the residual soil formed by leaching due to tropical rains. Leaching is a process in which the nutrient get percolated down below the soil due to heavy rainfall. Now because of heavy rainfall, what happens? The nutrients, they slowly along with the water, they go deep in the soil, so thus leaving the topsoil infertile. So what happens, as all the nutrients and all the minerals they go down, the top layer of the soil become infertile. This is called we can call the desilication. Due to the heavy rains, lime and silica are leached away and alluvium compounds are left behind. So what happens, because of this heavy rainfall, this lime and silica, they leached away, means they go down in the soil, and what is left on the top is aluminum compounds. Humus content of the soil is removed by bacteria that survives well in high temperature. There are two types of laterite soil: upland laterite and lowland laterite. Upland laterite are formed over the hills and upland. From there, they are transported by streams towards the lowland. Such transported soils are known as lowland laterites. So, two categories of laterite soil: one is upland, which are at higher level, and one is lowland. Now, these upland laterites, they are over the hilly areas, and from there, when they transported to downward side, they are called lowland laterites. Let us see their distribution in India. So, laterite soils mainly occur in the highland areas of Peninsular Plateau, especially on the summits of Sahyadris, Eastern Ghat, Rajmahal Hills, and many other hills in the eastern part of the peninsula. Patches of laterite soil are found in Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Maharashtra, West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and along the top slope of the peninsular mountains, the western and eastern Ghat. Now here there is a chart. Okay, so before we go, we see this chart. Let us first finish this laterite soil. Their characteristic of the laterite soil: color, it is red in color due to the presence of iron oxide, which is formed by leaching. The soluble plant foods like potash are removed. From the topsoil, leaving alumina and iron oxide. So their color is again red. Texture, it is of porous texture, soft and friable. Minerals, it is porous soil. Silica is removed from it by chemical actions. It is poor in lime and magnesium and deficient in nitrogen. It is acidic in nature as alkalis are leached. It is rich in iron oxide and potash. It is widely cut as bricks. And is considered suitable for construction materials. So, as we see that this soil, most of its minerals, they are leached away. So, they are not too much suitable for cultivation. They are not too much suitable for agriculture, but we can use them for brick building. For bricks, we know that they are made up of soils. So, crop, it does not retain moisture and hence is not fertile. It suits only special crops like tapioca, cashew nut, tea, coffee, etc. As the laterite soil has low fertility because of high acidity and low moisture retention, and other activities are required. So, manuring and other activities are required to make it suitable for growing the crop such as ragi, rice and sugarcane. So, as we see that fertility is less, so we have to add manure so that we can improve its fertility, and then we can use it for growing the ragi, rice, sugarcane, etc. Paddy is grown on lower elevations, whereas tea, cinchona, rubber and coffee are grown on the higher elevation. So, this is how we can divide the soil in different types. Now here there is a short summary, we can say, that given for these soils. So let us again revise these soils. Okay, first is alluvium soil. Alluvium soil, its formation. So it is formed by deposition of sediments by the river. So formation, how it is formed? It is formed by deposition of sediments by river. Okay, what we do, we just enlarge it. Okay, alluvium soil. Now areas, in which areas we find this alluvium soil? We find this alluvium soil in inland. Inland alluvium is in Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, part of Gujarat and Rajasthan. deltaic alluvium. So we have divided our India in three parts based on the presence of alluvium soil. First is inland alluvium, second is deltaic alluvium, and the deltas of Ganga, Brahmaputra, Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri, and coastal alluvium along the coastal strips of the peninsula. Their characteristic of alluvium soil is they are loamy, porous and dry in the upper reaches of the river and get finer and moist in the lower regions. So as river flows down, they become finer and moist. Rich in material, especially potash and lime, and poor in nitrogen and humus. Which kind of crop we can grow? So larger variety of rabi and kharif crop, rice, wheat, sugarcane, cotton, gram and oilseed, jute in Ganga, Brahmaputra deltas. So these are the different crops that we can grow. Second is black soil. Black soil formation, it is formed by residual soil formed by weathering of the lava rock. So it is a residual soil, means it is in situ soil and it is formed by weathering of the lava rock. Okay. Areas, so Deccan lava tract, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh and part of the Tamil Nadu. Their characteristic is they are clay, they are black in color, they are rich in lime, magnesium, poor in phosphorus, nitrogen and organic matter, and they are very fertile. We use them for cotton, cereal, oilseed, citrus fruit and vegetables, tobaccos and sugarcane. Then third category is red soil. So red soil, prolonged weathering of crystalline rock. How they are formed? They are formed by prolonged weathering of crystalline rocks, differ on the basis of parent rock material and climatic conditions. So these red soil, they differ from which parent rock they are formed. Okay, where they are found? So they are found in plateau regions of peninsula India, extending northward along the Konkan coast, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Southeast Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, parts of Odisha, Jharkhand, Bundelkhand, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Manipur, Telangana and Nagaland. These are the areas where we find this red soil. They are loamy or sandy. They are red in color due to large amount of iron oxide. Okay, this you must remember why the color of red soil is red. So the color of red soil is red because of presence of large amount of iron oxide. Deep and fertile in lowlands, thin and poor in highland. Poor in nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium and organic matter. They are poor in all these constituents. Vegetable, rice, ragi. So what different crops we can grow? So vegetables, rice, ragi, tobacco, groundnut and potatoes we can grow in this particular soil. And next is laterite soil. So due to the leaching in areas of heavy rain. So these soils are formed because of leaching. Leaching means the minerals and nutrients they leach out. They leach out means they go down in the soil because of heavy rain. Where they are found? They are found in highland areas of peninsular plateau, patches in Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Maharashtra, West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. They are porous and porous, red due to iron oxide, poor in lime, nitrogen and magnesium, and they are high acidity and low moisture retention. What different crops we can grow here? We can grow tapioca, cashew nut, and with the help of manure we can grow ragi, rice, sugarcane, rubber, coffee, etc. Okay, so in this lecture we have seen what is the soil. Okay, what are the different types of the soil. Okay, so let us stop our lecture here. In next lecture we will see soil erosion, causes of the soil erosion, what is soil erosion, what is its cause and prevention of the soil erosion. Okay, by that we will finish the chapter. So thank you for being with me. I will see you in the next class.